Welcome, everyone. It's 4 o'clock, and I think it's in everyone's interest that we kick this off so that we can join the party quicker. So Cristina and we're here to talk about how to apply SAP Data Intelligence to accelerate the ingestion of SAP Data Lake with the Volvo case. My name is Viktoria Jisbrant. I am DPAO, or Digital Product Area Owner, for some SAP foundational products at the Volvo Group. And I've been working in SAP projects for, 25 years. And I've been with Volvo Group since 2012.
Hello, I'm Cristina, and I have over 2 years of experience in data science. And for the past 2 years, I've been working in SAP projects. For the past 1.5 years, I've been working at Volvo, but I'll get in more details during our presentation.
Yes. And just a company introduction. So Volvo Group, we do trucks, buses, marine engines, and construction equipment. We have several different brands in our portfolio. Volvo brand, of course, Mack Trucks, as I said, the Penta marine engines, and so forth. And our ambition is to be fossil-free by 2030.
I'm representing One Consultants. You may wonder who is One Consultants, and we are your hands-on strategy partner. We have experience across multiple industries. We worked with international assignments, and we have experts all across BTP, so HANA Cloud, DataSphere, Data Intelligence, and BTP integration.
And you're more than one.
Yes.
Yeah, there are several consultants. It's actually the main question you get when you work with One Consultants. How many are they? To walk you briefly through the agenda, I'll introduce the project and our ambition and what we wanted to do, and then I'll hand over to Cristina to explain some more of the technical parts of what we have done. If we start to look at the evolution in the 2000, many companies, Volvo as well, implemented data warehouses using BW, using a layered scalable architecture, LSA or LSA++, combining multiple sources, SAP, non-SAP, but everything in BW with some delay, data loads once per day, perhaps. Next is the data lake. That's the next topic, and that's where Volvo is now. We're trying to combine all our data in a common data lake on Azure. Not only SAP, but all the data to be a data-driven company. And then, of course, we're closely monitoring what's happening in the new technologies with DataSphere, for example. We're not there, but we're keeping close look on it, and we're trying to make sure that we can make that choice if we want to in the future. But at the moment, the data lake scenario is giving us enough to work with. We have a number of SAP systems at Volvo. We have old legacy system, ECC. We have CRM, we have planning systems. We also have BW, recently migrated to a BW for HANA, but we have the old BW on HANA as well. We have S4 systems, and we have some cloud products such as Ariba or SuccessFactors. So our project needed to find the best practice setup for all these different types of ingestion patterns. To visualize it, different types of SAP systems, different generations. It requires different extraction mechanism into the data lake. On top of that, we have 2 data lakes. One is for the trucks business, and then we have a common one called UDP. So from this picture, Cristina will explain the challenges we've had and give some tips and tricks if you want to test this at home.
So I'll start by talking about how to connect to SAP ABAP systems, both with SAP DI and with SAP DataSphere. Of course, it depends on the system. So for ECC and BW, I'll briefly talk about the DMS component that we need. And in case of SLT-based replication, the NetWaver version is relevant. For S4, we can directly use the ABAP pipeline engine, and I'll briefly talk about integration nodes and how to keep up with patching. For SAP DataSphere, we need a cloud connector, and in case of BW and BW4, we also need a DP agent. For S4, it's similar, so we can just directly use the ABAP pipeline engine as of S4 2019. I won't go in details here, so I won't bore you, but in general, you need to keep in mind that you need to be within the last three latest version of DMIS, so you can get support from SAP. And there are different nodes and programs that will support with nodes integration. Like, for example, for ABAP replication, we have the CNV and ADI program, which just offers a full list of nodes, and it's even downloading all the nodes to the system. And the CNV and SLT, it's for SLT replication.
I think this is the area where we've had most challenges during our project because DI is a new SAP offering and it's developing really, really quickly. And we try to put this on some of our older systems. So DI, very advanced, old technology, a lot of patching to keep up with to make it work and to understand what we could do. So good tip there to actually be on top with the DMIS version and all the notes and everything, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because for some system replication, it's not even possible. But again, you can see more details here. We will share the presentation afterwards as well. And for Ariba and SuccessFactor, here we just need two connection SAP DI, which is a bit special comparing with all the other systems where you just need one connection. And the first connection here, it's on the right side. With that connection, you can authenticate to the API and you get the authorization token. And with the second connection, you will be able to actually read the data. Scaling SAP Data Intelligence, there are three main places where we can play with settings: on DI side, on SLT, and on the ABAP source system side. I have three pictures. On the left side, we can see the settings on SLT. Here we can define how many jobs we want per each mass trans, and from this, how many we want to reserve for initial load, and how many we want to have for job calculation. Something else that is also really important that we can define here, it's replication frequency. Usually at Volvo, we go every 10 minutes, so we are just near real time, but real-time replication, it's also possible. In the middle, we can see the settings on ABAP side. There are four parameters that we can set up. Two of them you can see here, the max obsession, the RMS max partition, and there are other two parameters, one about the health check and how often we want that health check in minutes. And the last one, it's about package sizing, and this one is just about ODP, so we can change the package sizing. And lastly, we have the settings on SAP DI. Here is mostly about Axino and what's the CPU and memory limits for Axino. Some key consideration, as you may know, we have two ways of replicating data. One is using RMS, and the other one it's using the read data from SAP operator, or just graph replication. RMS, it has a really easy to use interface. Also, we can add the multiple tasks to the same replication flow. It's really easy to configure as well. but there are few limitations too. We can have a maximum of 50 tasks per replication flow, and SAP recommended for Volvo even just 5 tasks per replication flow. We need a unique pair of source connection and target connection. This is a kind of new update, but we found a workaround, and the workaround here was to just create multiple source connections. And lastly, we can only replicate one table, CDS view, or object with once within the same pair of source and target connection. For replication via graphs or using the operators, I will say here we have more flexibility and more features available, but it's also a bit more complicated to just set up even the source and target connection. We can also do data transformation, and some other limitation are that we can only replicate one table or object per graph. And we also have a limit of how many graphs we can run at the same time in parallel, and that limit is 5. SAP DI APIs. There are 4 supported APIs from SAP. The metadata management API, which gives us more information about the data we have in the metadata management. Like, for example, we can see the sensitivity of the data. Monitoring query API, this one we use for Grafana. I will talk a bit more about Grafana in next slides. And what this means is that we can get access to CPU and memory usage. The pipeline engine API, this API facilitates the automation of starting, stopping, and monitoring graphs. And the last one is the storage gateway API, which honestly I never used. And the last API which we use the most, it's the RMS API. And this one facilitates the starting, stopping, and monitoring of RMS. Furthermore, I'll talk about 3 examples of how we leverage this API. The first one, it's monitoring automation. So what we did was to create a graph that it's continuously monitoring both RMS and graphs. And if we get an error, we will receive an email notification about it. Now, why we choose to do this is to ensure 24/7 monitoring, and to ensure that we are getting the error message as soon as possible. We currently are planning to even evolve this functionality, in the sense that we want to define our own recovering systems, and also based on our experience to ease the way we are doing debugging. So based on past experiences, to create a, let's say, mini database that will offer more insights on what you should do based on an error message. RMS scheduling, as I probably mentioned, the RMS, or if not, I'll say now that RMS doesn't need scheduling. How RMS is working is that it's continuously running, and it will have some resources reserved. So even when it's not using those resources, those will be reserved and not available to other projects. We choose to do RMS scheduling to avoid this, and to better use our resources. So now, with the help of automatization, so we automate the start and stopping of graphs, and we can use the same resources across multiple projects. Grafana. Grafana, it's a monitoring tool, and what we can monitor here is the memory and CPU consumptions. Also, we can monitor the network consumptions, and we can see the readiness of a pod. We can see these both for tenants, both for each tenants, for each users, and based on each graph or replication flow as well. And lastly, from SAP DI to DataSphere. DataSphere has the same technology, just a different UI and subscription. And as far as I saw, SAP vision for this is that the customers that are currently using SAP DI can follow along with DataSphere and slowly transition from SAP Data Intelligence to DataSphere, of course, depending on the use case. Any questions?
Every kind of volume. We started scaling from small volumes, but I think recent experience in the finance area, Cristina, we have several clients with billions of data that we're moving as an initial load. And with that in mind, like Cristina showed you, the different options you have to tune the performance, that is one learning, or that's an ongoing learning actually. We're still tweaking. There are multiple areas where we can fix or tweak performance, many components involved. We have the backend system. We have the cloud connector to protect the data. We have the SLT system involved in some cases, and then we also have the ingestion area. So there's a lot of areas, and I think one key learning from our project, and I think you agree as well, it's important to have people involved from all these different areas. So we need people who knows the backend system. We need people who knows the data and can help with the requirements. And we also need all the technical people from the basis team that can help, because it's a lot of trial and error. It has been for us at least.
Yeah, exactly. And just how Victoria said, I think the most important thing is that you need someone that can understand at the high level. So not just understand, not just have people that understand each component, but someone that can link them as well.
And have iterative testing, or be quite agile in the project in that sense, because we've changed parameters and then we changed them again and again and again. And each time we could see a little bit of performance improvement, and in some cases it even went the other direction.
Yeah. And we even have like experience with SAP, and even if you'll ask them about what would be, for example, the perfect settings, they won't be able to say. Of course, it depends on the data volume, size, how many columns you have in your table, so for objects.
So it's a good question, but we don't really know how much data we're moving.